played that in such a way that the red he attempted was the only one he could possibly leave. O'Sullivan has an 11-8 head-to-head record against Fu, but how many players can say that they've beaten O'Sullivan 8 times? Not many.
No, I was saying earlier on, one of those at the Crucible was a match where Ronnie made a 147, but Marco beat him. The Grand Prix final, which was Marco's first ever ranking tournament win. O'Sullivan was the man he beat in that final. And we're not saying that, I mean, he's playing the same guy all those years ago. O'Sullivan was brilliant. As good then as he is now. There's no difference. So he can do it. He can beat Ronnie. What I would say is that he has to play better than he did this afternoon, because that was not a particularly good performance.
Well, somebody's letting off some fireworks.
I think he's been fairly lucky. He put his hand up there to apologise, but Ronnie's got a long red that he could knock in.
Two quarter-final losers are meeting tonight from the International Championship in Chengdu last week. O'Sullivan lost to Mark Williams, the double world champion, for the first time in 12 years.
5.
And Fu lost to Robert Milkins. The consolation
6
for those defeats, I suppose, was that it just gave them a little bit more time to rest and prepare for this tournament.
Yeah, the two finalists we'll be seeing on Friday here in Coventry.
13.
Ricky Walden, who beat Mark Allen in Chengdu, play each other on Friday in the remaining group.
Neil Robertson
14.
and Ali Carter are the two other players in that group. Carter back from his unpleasant brush with cancer.
19. Okay. 20.
Yes, and before anyone asks, we did mean Friday. I know we know today is Wednesday, but there is no play here tomorrow. It is a rest day. And that split has not worked out. He's on a red to the middle. He'll be lucky.
27.
He's very tight on this, and he can get. He's close enough to it to flick a tiny bit of left-hand side on to widen the angle.
28.
But position was compromised. End of break.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 28.
Seems to be a pretty knowledgeable crowd. Coventry has a thriving amateur league, so a lot of knowledgeable snooker folk in here tonight, I would guess.
Oh, I wonder if Ronnie's got an easy safety shot here. It's playing to the right-hand side of this red thin. Doesn't want to catch this too thick. Well, he didn't really play him behind the green. If anything, he hit it a fraction too thin, actually, that one. That's why it was so speedy.
A virtual sellout here at the Ricoh Arena.
One.
Didn't really know where the keeper would finish, but he's been happy to finish where he has with the red across near the right middle as well, so he's not going to do an awful lot with this pink. It's one of those frames, he's got a decent little lead, 35 points. He can take the reds around the pink and not worry too much about freeing the black here. More of a problem for Marco Fu if he gets 40 or 50 behind.
$14. 15. 21.
No reason why he wouldn't win the frame here.
22.
Not even letting the cue ball roll around too far. He's in prime position. He was classy this afternoon in his win against Stuart Bingham. When he was pressed, he found plenty. Finished with back-to-back centuries. Had been put under pressure.
Another positive indicator for O'Sullivan this week is that he's in a cheerful, upbeat mood. There have been times over his long career when
35.
he's been sunk in the depths of depression.
36.
but his relationship with the Sheffield psychiatrist, Dr. Steve
43.
Peters, very much the go-to psychiatrist in the sports world,
44.
has, I think, extended his career. Dr. Peters gave him a new way of looking at things.
51.
And for the last
52.
couple of seasons, or the last season and a half, he's had a very positive outlook. He really seems to be enjoying the game.
59. 60.
Well, the century's on mathematically, but it would take a good shot to knock the yellow
67.
down the cushion. The green's fairly close to a
68.
pocket, so it's not difficult. You might play the cannon here, knock it out though. That's what he's tried. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. He'll be unlucky if the brown covers it. Well, he's done nothing wrong with the
75.
shot. Yeah, I suppose he was looking to make another century and make it 3 in a row, because he finished with back-to-backs this afternoon. He was unlucky not to do it as well. That's what he's got to do. He's got to play safety shots as good as that one. Perfect weight. Only looking for an edge of a red to get back to bulk. These shots are not easy.
Some players believe that if they can frustrate O'Sullivan long enough with good safety, eventually it would take the edge off his potting. But O'Sullivan too has a great safety game.
I would say that Ronnie gets frustrated, not so much with good safety, but doesn't really like playing slow players very much. I think that's the one thing he has struggled with. But even then, whether they're good tactical players, slow players, it's how long they're at the table and how many they score that will hurt him more than anything else. This is a very difficult opening red. Might be a big pocket with the other red there. Doesn't need it. Pocket was big enough for him already.
One.
This really is a difficult shot under the cushion rail.
6. Seven. Ten.
Well, the black, I think, will go. Ronnie has played that well if it does.
$11.
Yeah, not quite the right angle on it. He wanted to be a bit lower with the cue ball so he could take the red directly above it.
$18.
That's the problem, you see, with the black now being tied up, and that's what's
19.
made him think a little bit this time. I think he might go into the pink here, get the pink into play. High value colours not really open as things stand. He can make it change though. And he has the angle to go into it if he wants to. That's what he's played. So the pink is now in open play, and so is the black. I don't think he could have really,
24.
as good as he is, played that as well in the same shot.
$25. $30.
Just slightly awkward where he's finished. It's the red below the one he wants to pot that's giving that man some hope. He can just sit there and pray almost that Ronnie will miss something soon. This is a little tricky one to the middle.
31.
It's been a slightly difficult break to make.
$37.
We talk about O'Sullivan's potting and break making, but his shot selection, his planning of a break
44.
is so exceptional.
45.
Oh, that's a slight error. Wants to be on the red that's directly above the black. I think around 2 cushions he could get there from here, but the pot is missable. Can do nothing but drop it in. Yes, and he may be on the reds above that now. Either way, he's getting there.
50. $51.
Probably is the last difficult shot of the break, and possibly of the frame. Difficult because he's got a hand on the cushion rail. But not too much. It looks difficult right now.
57. 58.
Well, to me, Neil, O'Sullivan seems to be in peak form.
Oh, we know he's devastating around the black spot. The amount of 147 breaks he's made, and the way that he's made them.
64.
But this has been a complicated break.
65.
Like a chess grandmaster, he knows the moves. Or sees the moves.
Yeah, it's one thing knowing them and seeing them, but you know, he can really execute them as well. He just looks such a great, wonderful player when he's in this kind of form. Just oozes class. Said that earlier on. Maybe the end of break there. It looked like the ball just jumped slightly.
71. Ronnie O'Sullivan 71 on the frame.
The 3-ball plan fails, but it makes no difference. He'd already